you get those little fine slices. I understand that our first demonstrator is ready. Trey, I'm going to try to pop it back over to you. Let's go to Trey. Trey is, all right, Trey, you got to unfreeze yourself or something, bud. We still don't get your audio.
I got him spotlighted.
All right, now you got it, Trey.
Unmute yourself, Trey.
Apparently, we have a technical difficulty.
Well, I'll just change it back to my computer. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Instead of trying to use the over the head thing, I'm on my computer, and let me know if you have a problem. Okay, I'm going to start demonstrating. This is the first of a series of demonstrations on ornaments. I turn a whole lot of Christmas ornaments. When I go to my annual show, I'll usually have about 1,500 that I take with me to the show. So I turn a bunch of them and sell a bunch of them. What I'm going to do today is I'm going to do spindle type ornaments. So the first time we'll do some turning on spindle ornaments just because of time. I was told 20 minutes for the demo. So I'll show you some of the spindle ornaments that I have normally and give you some other examples. We'll turn something. Next week I'll cover, if we don't get to it this week, we'll do a multi-axis tree. And next week I'll talk about finishing and different ways of putting hooks on them. I have a standard way, but there's several other ways of doing it too. So let's start out with these are the ornaments that standard spindle type ornaments that I have. It's a Nick Cook style snowman, large and mini. I've added a snow woman to it, put a skirt on it, rosy cheeks, different type of hat with large and small. Little Christmas trees. Now these little trees, they're painted to school colors or in this case, New Orleans Saints, but they're painted to school colors and they sell very well. I have a little Santa, both large and small. I've got some lighthouses and I turned one, these are unfinished that I just turned on it, but I couldn't find any in my inventory. And then I have a few bells that I have. Like bells. And some, this is the offset Christmas tree. And this is what I normally carry in my inventory wise.
Hey Trey.
Yes.
On your Santa ornaments, are the beard, is that painted on?
Yes. This is a fluff type paint that I mix with white. It's a real thick, and it's just a gel part that you mix with paint. I put white on there and then put it real thick, and then I paint the face, mustache, and stuff on it.
Thank you.
And these are some things I just did this week in prep for this demo. Long icicle, some trees. Something I haven't been turning a lot of, but it's a good idea, is a light bulb. You can stain the top, green, red, blue, and then put some metallic paint on the bottom of it. Just a simple turn shape. More trees, a little bell. More lighthouses, another basic shape. And the purpose of throwing all these in front of you is just to give you some different ideas of some stuff that you can be doing with them. For spindle type turning. And we'll clean the lathe off and make some chips. Well, do really cleaned it off. Excuse me. Let me get everything off the floor so I don't walk on it and trip.
What kind of wood do you use?
I'm using, I like to use maple for this type, and for my snowman, for my Santas, this is cedar. It's just a red cedar that we have here. And that's what these were roughed out with. I generally like to start with a, let's see, with 5/4 maple stock. And we'll now I'm gonna go ahead and turn the Nick Cook style ornament snowman, and it is really an excellent ornament to learn and practice with, because you can use different tools to do it with. You can use the skew for most of it. You can use a spindle gouge on it. You can use the beading parting tool, your roughing tool, and it's a good practice piece. If you mess it up, so what? It was just a little small block of wood. You grab another one, you haven't put a lot of time into it. So let's get to turning. I'm starting out with a roughing gouge, or a spindle roughing gouge. I have a 40-degree grind on it. And we'll turn it on and start making some chips. And I'm riding the bevel, if you can hear me, I'm riding the bevel as I'm going down on it. Okay. We have a basic shape. Let's get it a little closer. And for this sake, I'll go ahead and grab the skew. And all I'm doing right now is working on the hat. This is where the top of it's going to be. The peel and cut, and the purpose of it, just remove the wood off of it. Top of the hat brim. Okay. Now where I stand now, I've cut the hat down a little bit smaller because it'll look funny if it's as big as the head, bigger than the head, than the brim. Cut it down a little bit. Just made 2 straight cuts in there with the skew. Next, his face has got to be a little bit smaller than this, so I'm gonna go down and just clean that area out. Now the next thing that you're concerned with, that's going to be his head. But effectively, the top of his head is up here inside the hat. So that is the center of the face. So the biggest diameter you want is right here, not centered on this. Otherwise, it'll look like the hat is floating over his head on it, which you don't want. So let's go ahead and I grab a different chisel, but you know, it's whatever. Right there's the center of his head, and then just a slight cut right there on the front. Not much, because that's the center, that's the biggest diameter. Okay, now do something for the foot, for the bottom. Okay, now we have the basic ornament, the basic shape, what we're trying to get. You can use any tool you want to do this with, though. Sanding. Takes, taking the marks out. And then I'll use a little board to burn this headband in. Okay. Now I'm ready to take it off. Okay. And that's a basic Lennep style ornament on it. Snowman.
Then it's on to the coloring and detailing.
Yep. And next week I want to cover finishing. I want to cover the tops and finishing, and we'll talk about finishing all the different ornaments next week.
Okay.
So next week I'll talk about the painting on the eyes on it and some of the other stuff I do with finishing to try to keep this demo within the time frame that we have it set for.
All right, great. Well, I learned a little something, and I'm sure everybody else did too. And one of the first things that you really should have been paying attention to if you missed it, especially if the new turner says, the way he presented his gouge or his cutter, using the bearing of the bevel to make those slice cuts. That's very important because gouges are like plows. We really don't want to be plowing our work off. So thank you, Trey. Appreciate it.
Well,
Next week.
I still got a couple minutes. Let me go ahead and do a offset tree.
All right. Hey, we're going to give Dane a heads up. In 10 minutes, we're going to join our next guest. How's that work?
Okay. And it starts out the same way. I'm gonna bring it in, and we'll be riding the bevel. Okay, now this turning here, I'm gonna turn this. You saw the Christmas tree. I'm gonna turn this turning on three additional axes, 4 axes total. So mark that axis that I want to put it on.
Oh, got to get back to Trey. Trey, we're coming back. You know, we just.
Got it back? No, you're on you. Okay.
Story stick.
Story stick. Don't get that, like that secret out.
I'm using that stick just to get some consistent measurements in it. Now the next thing I want to do is turn this on a different axis. And what I'm going to use for the offset is that that 1/4 inch offset. So I'll turn one on this point here. We'll turn another on this axis right here, and I'll turn a third one on this axis here. So I'm putting on one of the axes, and the purpose of the color, you'll see in a second, I'm coming in and I'm gonna do, right now I'm gonna go ahead and do the blue ones. Next I'll do a different color when I move to the next one.
Dane thought you were just getting it a little bit artistic.
No, I'm doing it so it's easy to see where I go. I could mark them all the same and count it, and all I'm gonna do is coming in and just do a little V cut. Now we'll move it to a different axis. And you can see where I put that, you can see where that center part was on that one.
Now the top stays in the center point.
The top stays on center. The bottom, I'm moving the bottom of the tree. And we'll go do the second one. Now the third axis. I've done the orange and blue, now I'm on green. Put a bottom on it.
Come back center.
Back on center.
Hey, Trey, we just heard from a couple of our members that this is a great use for excess pen blanks.
Yes. Okay, now I have this. Now the next step.
Hey, for you guys that turn pens, you always know you come up with a piece that's too short to do anything with. There it is, right there.
Next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna paint this. And we're gonna do this like a cooking show. Is it? Okay, it's all painted.
I can smell it, yes.
Red paint.
I'll put it back on center.
It dried almost instantly, too.
Yes, very quick. Quick drying acrylic.
I have to mention that right now we're starting a FundMe account for Billy because Billy says he is pen blank poor.
And there you are.
Now that is a nifty little piece.
It's offset, it's turned on the four axes, but it's, you know, fairly quick, but it's a little different. It stands out. So.
Right. I'm going to give you a lot of time here. I'm going to say you did that in 7 minutes. And you had to explain it while you were doing it. So,
yeah, but anyhow, it's a good project, and that's the spindle type stuff. Now next week I'm gonna cover the finishing and different ways of hanging them, and we'll conclude that for this week.
Great, thank you, Trey. Appreciate it.